Welcome to GTM Education, and today we're going to look at how to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths, and in this video we're going to look at the secret mentality you must have to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths. So do you actually want to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths? And this is step 1 of wanting to have that secret mentality to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths. Since a lot of you guys may say that you want a grade 9, but do you genuinely want to have a grade 9 in your GCSE Maths exam? When you get that result sheet, you want to see a grade 9. Do you actually want that grade 9? Because you need to have the mindset that you desperately want the grade 9 in your GCSE Maths. When it comes to step 1 of having that secret mentality to getting a grade 9 in GCSE Maths, it's the mindset where you must want it. If you desperately want a grade 9 in GCSE Maths, it will be something that will be making you closer and closer to getting that grade 9 and having that top level mentality, that mentality that a lot of students do not have, because at the end of the day, it is a competition between you and the rest of the students. When you look at the way the grade 9s, grade 8s, grade 7s, rest so on are differentiated, it's between what the top students, then average students, poor students, and so on. So it is split in different categories. At the end of the day, you have to be better than the rest. To get grade 9 in GCSE Maths, you have to be better than the rest. Having that mentality that you desperately want a grade 9 will put you ahead of the other students, where they might find it half-hearted. They think of it as a casual, they don't want it as much. That will put you ahead of the others. So you have made a good start by clicking on this video, and that's one good start, but watching it till this part of the video as well. So for me to know that you've been watching this video and to appreciate your commitment, your ability to continue watching videos, you wanting that grade 9 very badly, I would urge you to comment something in the comment section below. I would tell you to escape from the screen and type something that makes me know that you have been watching it till this part of the video. I want you to type the word secrets in the comment section below so that I know that I've made it till this part of the video. And after you've done that, you come back to the video and continue watching. Your mind will get a quick refresh, and that's your moments of a second. So there will be hurdles on the way, but your strong mentality will be very, very important if you want to achieve a grade 9. And to have that mentality, you have to be strong. You have to be strong in terms of your mentality. First of all, you have to be desperate to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths. And secondly, you have to be strong as well, because getting a grade 9 in GCSE Maths is not easy. You're against a lot of other students. All of you want to achieve the best grades, but at the end of the time, you have to be smarter than your competitors. At the end of the day, you have to be more focused than your competitors. And at the end of the day, you want to be the best version of yourself to get that grade 9. And there will be hurdles on the way. And if you think that the hurdles are something that is affecting you, you have to take it easy, and you have to keep pushing your boundaries, passing each hurdle one by one, because the hurdles will come again and again. I've experienced it myself, where I've struggled to get a topic in my brain to answer a particular sort of question, but it's something where I kept moving on and on and on, and that is something that was made me be able to get close to full marks in each of my maths papers. That's something that you guys need to have, that there will be hurdles on the way. You need to be ready. There will be barriers in the way, but your mentality is something that is very, very important, so that you will easily pass each and every one of the hurdles. So in terms of the second thing, it's the fact that you need to use your teacher. A lot of you guys I see, they come to me for tuition. They ask me, "Sir, can you teach me this topic? Sir, can you do this? Sir, can we look at or go over this topic I do not understand in my class?" There are a lot of you guys do that. But one thing you guys don't understand is the fact that teachers have worked so many years in their life to help you, so use them. Because a lot of you guys don't use your teachers. A lot of you guys pay a lot of extra money, tell your parents, "Mom, Dad, I do not understand how to do this topic. I need some help. I don't think my teacher is good enough. I don't know what to do. I need to do something else. I need some extra classes somewhere else." And a lot of you guys come like that to me. And the thing that I don't understand is why you don't use your teachers as much as you should. A lot of you guys are worried about the fact that complaining about your teacher is something that's going to affect you in the long run. That is not something that you should focus on. At the end of the day, the teachers have the most experience in this field, and you using them as much as possible is what is going to help you get a grade 9. Because when it comes to teachers, a lot of you guys might have some bad teachers. If you do, that doesn't mean that you have to stick with them. You tell the head of teacher or you tell the head of your department stating that this teacher is not good enough. You can talk to them privately without anyone else knowing and ask them to remain anonymous about your complaint, that you do not think this teacher is good enough, and then they will have some inspections where the teachers, the main staff, will come inside their classroom to see what is going on, how they are teaching. And that is something that you should not be scared to reveal to your head of departments, to your friends, etc. So don't be scared, and when you have a good teacher, use them as much as possible because they have the most experience in this field. They have worked many years to be in the position they are right now. And secondly and thirdly, they have the experience of previous students and they know what is right or wrong. And that is something that is very important, because these teachers have worked very hard. They've had the experience. If you have a teacher that has been literally 25 years, 30 years in the experience, use them as much as they can, because they know what is right, they know what is wrong. I know it's meant to say right or wrong, it says right on wrong, but there's going to be some technical difficulties in terms of the quality of the presentation, but that's a small grammatical error. But when it comes to the teachers, they know what is right, they know what is wrong, they've seen what previous students have done and what's worked for them, what hasn't worked for them. So use them as much as possible. And that's why I do urge you not to spend time and money on tutors after failing to use your teachers for the first time, because at the end of the day, teachers are literally working very hard to be in the position. They are getting paid, they are getting focused to teach in a particular way. So use them as much as possible. And when you have that small percentage where you do not think the school is good enough, you do not think the teachers are good enough, where you cannot really get something out of it, that's when you move on to a tutor, which is the last thing I recommend. But that is something that you guys should focus on. From something where I believe using a teacher is very important. And when you think that teachers don't get paid to teach you, they are getting paid. It's your parents' hard-earned money that is being used in terms of taxes towards the teacher. At the end of the day, you're pretty much paying them. So when you pay teachers, you should try to make the most out of them, because it's something that's going to affect you in the long run. So use them as much as you can, because they know what is right, they know the way they're going to teach, and when using them as much as possible, they will start to take care of you more and more, and they understand that you want that grade 9. That's something that is dependent on your mentality. The secret mentality of students that get a grade 9 is that fact that they want a grade 9, as we just discussed before, and secondly, they use their teacher. You may have those friends that stay with the teacher until 6 p.m. after school is finished. They're all the students that really want to get a grade 9, and the teachers will help them. So don't feel bad about making their jobs difficult, since they won't feel bad if you do bad in your GCSEs. Their life goes on and on. They don't care about what you get in your GCSEs, because next year they'll have a different batch of students. Next year they get a different batch of students. Their life goes on and on. So they do not feel bad about the fact that you haven't used them as much as possible, because they're not going to feel bad if you get your bad results in GCSEs, because first of all, they have a number of students to worry about. They don't focus just on you, so they're not going to feel bad about you, and they're not going to think that, oh, the student has got a grade 4 or has not passed in his GCSEs, it's going to affect me. No, not at all. So don't feel bad about making their jobs difficult. Use them as much as possible. Go to their classrooms at lunchtime. Go for advice in the morning. Do it when you can. Use them as much as possible, and it will affect you in a positive way as well, because the teachers will understand that this student wants to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths, for instance, since we're talking about that subject. So using them as much as possible is something that I urge you. The way to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths is using your teacher as much as possible. So that is something that you should be able to experience. And don't feel bad about that, because if your teacher understands that you want a grade 9 and you're using them as much as possible, your teacher will help you.
The teacher may focus more on you in terms of your classroom. The teacher will listen to you, what your opinions are. The teacher will come and ask you, oh, the student, what do you feel? How do you feel about this lesson? Do you understand everything? Do you need any help in any particular topic? The teachers will want to help you more and more. And at the end of the day, it's you're the one that's getting benefited. So use them as much as possible. So in terms of the next thing, what we're going to look at is focusing on in your lessons. And this is something that I've touched briefly upon throughout the lesson, but focusing your lessons is something that I urge to a large extent, because a lot of you guys I see mess about in your lessons and come to me for tuition. He was telling me, sir, I have messed about my lessons. I wasn't listening at all. I was messing about while the teacher was explaining, and they expect me to all of a sudden explain everything, and they did not have enough time because they didn't focus on the 5 years they had in their secondary school, and now they're regretting it to learn everything in literally 5 months. So don't mess about in your lessons. You may have messed about throughout your whole life, but I urge you to not mess about in your lessons and try to focus for the whole hour of your lesson. That's something that I urge, something that you should do, something that you should take advantage of, because focusing in your lessons is something that will help you, and forgetting about distractions is something that I will respect a lot, because our attention span is decreasing with apps like TikTok, Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, where everything's just changing every 30 seconds, everything's just changing every 15 seconds, and in your corner eye you might see someone messing about, in your other corner eye you might see someone doing something crazy. But forget about those things. Those things are not going to ask you, not going to help you in the future. When you go for an interview, the interviewer is not going to ask you, oh, were you focused on what was happening when a guy was messing about? Were you listening to that, or were you focusing on the lesson? No one's going to ask you that. So try to make the most out of your lesson. These lessons are there as an opportunity to revise. The schools are purposely done for you to learn all the topics. They have a specification to follow. They have a curriculum to follow. So since year 7, you've been since you've started school, since primary, since nursery, there is a way to learn everything. Each lesson should be an opportunity to revise, and it's like you're revising at home. If you focus every lesson as an opportunity to revise, you will be someone that will continue to thrive, in my opinion, because in the future it will benefit you a lot as well. And if you can remain focused for that 1 hour, and then you have that 5-minute break or the 2-minute break where you have to move around the corridor to go to the next classroom, that is enough break for you to focus on the next class, and that is something where the top level students are able to do. And if you can get that into your mentality by focusing in your lessons rather than focusing on other people, and rather than focusing on other things, rather than focusing on yourself getting that grade 9, you have a great opportunity to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths. So I urge you to treat your lesson as another opportunity to revise, and revising in those lessons gives you another opportunity to take it as a revision lesson, as if you were at home as well. Many might have like a timetable stated, I will revise 3 hours in my house, but if you take each of those 5 lessons as an opportunity to revise, that's 5 hours of solid revision. So I urge you to do these things in your classroom and focus on your lessons. So in terms of the next important thing, in terms of having a strong mentality and having that secret mentality that the GCSE 9 students have, is that you should put the effort. And effort is something that is considered in different ways by different people, but effort is something that you need to do, because doing the extra work will pay off at the end of the day, because a lot of grade 9 students put the effort in. No one flukes a grade 9. No one all of a sudden randomly gets a grade 9. That is very unlikely. And even if you hear your friends stating that, oh, I didn't revise at all, you never know what they do in their house in terms of revision. You don't know how much hours they spend without you seeing them at school. So there are a lot of things that you have to take it in, as you have to get that imagination that it is how much you put in is how much you get out, and it has to be amount you put in which is very efficient work, because a lot of students I know spend 6 hours on reading a textbook, for example, which I do not see very efficient. So the work that you put in has to be very efficient towards yourself, because many students learn different ways, but the mentality remains the same. Because if you're efficient towards yourself, if you're saying that you can revise something in 30 minutes, whereas a person takes 3 hours to revise the same thing,
you revising in 30 minutes is much more efficient. So the amount you put in has to be something that you will be able to guess out when it comes to recalling that certain topic or those certain facts, and you would be able to thrive in terms of getting a grade 9. And in terms of GCSE maths, there are a lot of things where you have to put the effort in. You have to learn how to answer a particular question a particular way. You have to know what formulas to use. You have to know the secret tricks in terms of answering certain questions and analysing questions and answering them in a method that gains you full marks, because a lot of students I see miss out certain marks from the question. So putting the extra work in and efficient work in at the same time is something that will guide you closer to getting a grade 9. And that is a secret mentality that if you ask every single grade 9 student, some are very humble, some want to be honest, some do not want to show their tricks to other people. They all put the effort in, and that's something that is part of the secret mentality. And in terms of the next thing, is the fact that you have to have good systems and good habits, and that's something that is very, very underrated. And something that I recommend is developing a good routine till the exams are finished, because when it comes to having a good routine, you would be focused at the right moment of time, rather than when you one time study at 12 p.m. and another time you study at 6 a.m. in the morning. The brain won't be ready at the right time. So it's better to develop a good routine so you work a particular way and your mind stays refreshed and knows when to revise, when to have the right moment to focus, so that there will be a certain schedule that you could follow. And that's something that is very, very important. Developing a good routine is very, very important. And the next thing is the fact that it may seem difficult at first, but you have to think of the massive holiday you get after your exams, because after your exams you get a massive, massive holiday. It's a holiday that a lot of teachers would love to get once again in their lives. A lot of students love having that massive holiday after, because you never get that holiday again. The holiday you get after your GCSEs is something that is very, very enjoyable. So it might seem difficult to develop a good system, to develop a good habit, but just think of the reward that you will get at the end of it. And building good systems and habits are not only useful for your GCSEs, but for the rest of your life as well. And if you look at the best athletes, if you look at the best people in the world, if you look at the most popular people, the people that have the most success, they all build good systems. For example, if you're thinking about a footballer, if you're thinking about Cristiano Ronaldo, you can see what age he is, how old he is, and he's still playing at the elite level of football. So you can use him as an example, and only he knows how his system works, how his habits are. He does everything in a certain way, in a certain time, and does it on a consistent basis, and that's why he's at the very top of his game. So that's something that you have to develop. It's only for a short period of time till the exams are finished, and then you can enjoy that holiday that you get, or you can continue to use some of the habits, such as waking up at a certain particular time early in the morning rather than staying so late and wasting the time that you have. That is something that I recommend to a large extent, because it will help you for your GCSEs and getting a grade 9 in GCSE maths in particular for this video, but for the rest of your life as well. So in terms of the next thing, it's the fact that you have to practice, and practice is something that is seen differently from different people, but practice is something that makes progress rather than perfect, because a lot of students believe that I'm practicing, my friend is practicing, my friend gets grade 9, I'm getting a grade 5, why is that the case? Well, at the end of the day, it's making progress rather than making perfect, because progress is dependent on where you start to where you are at the end of the day. So that friend that got grade 9 is someone that probably was already a grade 7 or a grade 8 student, so he was able to jump that next step and get a grade 9, whereas you could be a grade 4 student, you made that jump to get a grade 5, and everyone is different at the end of the day. So it's how much you practice makes you progress, and it may take you longer than others to be perfect, but it makes progress, and that's the most important thing. And learning how to do a question, for example, when you're looking in terms of getting a grade 9 in GCSE maths and having that mentality as we've been discussing, then practicing for it is very useful for maths. And you practicing the same question over and over again, doing that same question in different scenarios is going to only be helpful towards you, because you'll be able to answer the question, the random question that no one has seen so far in the exam paper. So it is something that you have to be prepared for, and practicing questions in different scenarios scenarios is something that will help you, and practicing in different situations is important as well, because you never know what can happen on the day of the exam. Sometimes you might be proper ill, but you still have to take the exams. Sometimes you might have a situation that happened in the morning that you still have to take the exams. So be careful about what you do, and it's important to focus your attention on different varieties and practice yourself so that you're prepared for all the situations. I've had my teacher once, he taught me in GCSE Maths that he was practicing in different scenarios. He was practicing in a busy environment, he was practicing in a different situation, and a calm situation, a noisy situation. So there are things where he's focused on whilst he was doing exercising. There are a lot of things that you have to take into consideration, and practice is important because, for instance, how did you walk? You don't all of a sudden start to walk. You have to follow the steps, because in terms of walking, you first have to crawl, you first then have to learn how to stand, then crawl, then walk. So there's a process. But if you stop walking for a period of time, you'll forget how to walk. And you can see there's a lot of situations where people just cannot be able to walk, and they have to sleep for a larger period of time, and then when they get up and learn how to walk again, they forget. So it's important to continue practicing. If you practice for a little while and then you forget to practice, then you'll forget that particular topic, and that's something that is common. And practice applies everywhere, and it is very important for getting a grade 9 in GCSE Maths and for the rest of your GCSEs as well. So it's something that applies everywhere, just like the walking scenario I just talked about, and it is something where you have to continue to progress, continue to practice, and get higher and higher and get to the level you want to achieve. So in terms of the recap on how to have that mentality you need to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths, the first thing we discussed about is the fact that do you actually want to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths? That's the first important fact, is that do you want to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths? Do you actually want to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths? There's a difference. You can take this half-hearted, or you can actually want it, and that's the difference between a grade 9 student's mentality and a grade 5 student's mentality, or a grade 7 mentality. There's a difference. So that mentality of wanting to get it will be very important, and that is a secret that a lot of students do not know about. Another secret mentality that students have is they use their teacher as much as they can, and we discussed about this in this video. You don't want to regret this after. Use your teacher as much as you can and make the most out of them, because as I mentioned, your teacher is not going to feel bad for you when you get poor results. Their life moves on. You don't want to feel bad about yourself at the end of the day. At the end of the day, you're the only one that will feel bad for yourself when you get bad results. So use your teacher, use the opportunity that is there, and make the most out of it. The next part is important to focus on your lessons, or you're wasting valuable time, in my opinion. Focus on your lessons. A lot of students come to me for tuition and say that I haven't focused in my lesson, and they come to me to learn a particular topic, to learn maths overall, to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths. Focus on your lessons. Effort is something that I talked about. Don't get fooled by students that mess about in class but get good results in exams, because they put the effort that you don't see. You don't know how many hours they spent after school revising, so you don't know that. So put the effort in your class. And finally, practice makes progress, and that will lead to perfectness at the end of the day. Continue to practice, continue to work, and the work that you put in, the effort that you put in, the focus that you have in your class, the opportunity to use your teacher, and the want to actually get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths will get you closer to getting that grade 9 in GCSE Maths. If you enjoyed this video, another video on the screen will be how to use Seneca and why you must use Seneca to get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths. If you enjoyed this video, the other video that I recommend you watch is on the screen, and I do think that this is a very good tool, and it will be something that will help you get a grade 9 in GCSE Maths. Thank you for watching.